people change behavior based on what they see, and it's proven. So now we need to show that actually reusables are cooler, reusables are better, and it's true, they really are. We have to undo whatever we've done because plastic was convenient, adopt those habits a little bit more willingly, just like what we saw with smoking and seatbelts, you know. I think the one campaign that I'm personally most excited about that we started is very similar to the anti-smoking movement that we saw in Hollywood. We created a campaign called Lights, Camera, Plastic because I was so tired of these type of stats. Like, they're so depressing, you know. It's one stat that I read was there's 1 million plastic bottles per minute being thrown away. Now, remember the recycle numbers. Some say 9%, some say 6%, some say 3%, but whatever it is, it's under 10%. So these are all, you know, polluting our environment, our beautiful, precious environment, our oceans. And so I wanted to shift culture. So what I decided to do was, you know, convince some of the biggest Hollywood studios to start swapping out single-use plastic or make it mandatory for production to stop showing so much single-use plastic and instead show a more aspirational lifestyle that is more conscious, which would include reusables, which would even include other behaviors. So walking to work or school and riding bikes and having reusable bags and things like that, so that people start to adopt those habits a little bit more willingly, just like what we saw with smoking and seatbelts, you know. People change behavior based on what they see, and it's proven. So Lights, Camera, Plastic, in my opinion, is one of the most innovative ways to tackle this problem that we are facing, and these type of drastic numbers that are just heart-wrenching, truly. So we have to undo whatever we've done because plastic was convenient. Now we need to show that actually reusables are cooler, reusables are better, and it's true, they really are. So let's just start to create a new normal that's in society.
I love what you said there because I recall, you know, back when smoking was more of a thing. Like, how many movies did you watch where people were smoking? All the time. All the time. I think the plastic one drives me nuts too. I harp on the plastic water bottles. That's why I often drink on this and like most of my shows because, you know, we produce on the planet about 500 billion plastic water bottles a year with a B. And most of those end up in if you extract the plastics out of our ocean, 25% of them are the plastic water bottles and the plastic grocery bags. It's a quarter of all. And so I always tell people, they get, you know, kind of frustrated and feel like they can't make an impact. Just drink out of these and put that, you know, that grocery bag, I always say put it in the car door because I always forget it in the trunk. But if everyone did that, you would actually make an impact. So there are things that people, I think, just aren't aware of that they can do. But the plastic water bottle one is out of control.
It really is. And I think part of one of the challenges that we even faced was like, we came into the school system here in LAUSD is ours. It's the second largest school district in America. And we got a grant to teach environmentalism to these inner city kids. And they had really never really touched on environmentalism the way that we wanted to teach them. So we walk in and we're like, we're going to bring reusable water bottles for everybody so we can remove the plastic water bottles from their lives. And the first thing that the administration told me was, and where do you think they're going to fill their water bottles? And we were like, well, at the water fountains, of course. Well, sure enough, the water fountains were so dilapidated, so disgusting. There was absolutely no way they could get their water bottles filled. So we brought in Assemblymember Bloom's team field worker to talk to the kids for one of the weeks. We brought in a whole bunch of different speakers each week, and it was really about environmental justice at this point. So we tried everything to replace the water bottles and the water filtration stations, but we were hit with this massive bill that we couldn't even afford to help them, you know, change out the water fountains. Well, cut to 2022, and Assemblymember Bloom spearheads this bill in the state of California that made every single school in California change out their, if they even change a tile, if it's a new build, if there's anything going on, they must provide a water filtration station for every 350 students. Then LAUSD added a $33 million investment to make sure that all their water was also super clean, because that was the other issue, is that the water wasn't even clean here in LAUSD. So sometimes there's an infrastructure issue, and then we have to tackle that in order to make it an option to drink out of a reusable. So sometimes it's like there is no option, but many times if you fix those problems, then the expectation of going reusable can be had.
Well, I love that example too, because as you're talking, it makes me think of visiting even some of my kids' schools here in Washington, and the water fountain looks like it's the original one from like the 70s.
Right. It's
and
just
you can't
tough
really
to drink out of that.
yeah. So I think if you fix that, and back to the point of, why aren't we teaching our youth? Why aren't we spending some time during the day to talk about the planet a little bit more and the things it can do? Because I find the younger generation really cares about this far more. Not just saying it by acting. I think you see a lot more of them willing to buy secondhand goods, and it's just doesn't have this mystique that it's secondhand, or they're living a much simpler life, I think, and so they care about these things. But I also feel like the younger generation is kind of screaming for answers, right? Because this is a complex topic, and that's part of the reason I'm spending time on interesting conversations like this, to hopefully for the people watching to just saying, there are a few things I can do. And so I think that's what it takes. That's why I love these different movements you're doing, because that's what it takes. You need to name it, identify the problem, and start to take actions towards it.